Have you ever spent hours on a problem, only to realize that a tiny dot or a single small letter caused the error? Or even worse, a piece of code that should work gives no error, but still produces the wrong output? In this video, you'll learn how to identify and fix issues like a professional programmer. So if you don't want to waste your time on small bugs anymore, stay with us until the end of this video. First, describe the problem precisely. The biggest mistake beginner programmers make is jumping into code changes before fully understanding the problem. But a professional first asks the right questions. What exactly is not working? What inputs are causing this issue? What were the last changes made to the code? Accurately documenting the problem is half the way to solving it. Always document the problem before changing the code and try to explain it in simple terms. 2. Recognize and analyze common errors. Professional programmers usually quickly identify the type of error. Some of the most common errors include syntax error, mistake in the code syntax, such as a missing parenthesis, type error, attempting to use an incorrect data type, such as adding a string to a number, IndexError, trying to access an element outside the range of a list, error, trying to access a key that does not exist in a dictionary. 3. Check the code line by line. Sometimes the problem is very simple, but we miss it due to the large amount of code. That's why use the line-by-line review method. Use print debugging. That means printing the values of variables at different parts of the code and checking whether the values are as expected. If you're using a professional IDE like PyCharm or VS Code, use the debugger to run the code step by step. Check the obvious things. Are the variable names written correctly? Is the data type correct? Sometimes the problem is just due to a typo. 4. Isolate the problem. One of the techniques of professionals is isolating the problem in the smallest possible section. If a function is throwing an error, remove the code that calls it and test just the function itself. If you have a large program, create a smaller version of the problem and work on that. If you don't know where the problem is, gradually comment out the code and see where it starts working correctly again. 5. Get help from others, but wisely. Professional programmers don't always know everything, but they have one key difference. They know how to ask questions. If you want to ask a question on sites like Stack Overflow or Reddit, first make sure you've described the problem clearly. Provide sample code. Just saying, "My program doesn't work," isn't enough. Share the part of the code where the problem occurs. Before asking, do a quick search. Someone may have already solved this problem. 6. Use the method of elimination. If you have complex code and don't know where the problem is, the elimination method is one of the best ways. Comment out different parts of the code one by one and see if the problem still exists. Use simpler test code to figure out which part of the program has the issue. Now it's your turn. What's the hardest problem you've faced in programming?